Welcome to Daily Dave's. It's ISE 2024. It's day 2, and it seems to be a record ISE. Yesterday it was really packed and was a really great start for this year's ISE. So Dave, great to have you here. As always, we want to talk a little bit about what did you see on the show floor? What is really exciting?
I should have brought a machete. I hacked my way through the crowd. Man, like Hall 3 in particular was just jammed with people. So I think typically first day people tend to go to the bright shiny objects, all the big LED screens and the big vendors like the LGs and the Samsungs and so on. So of course they were all there. It was interesting. You know, we spoke the other day about LED and how it's everywhere, and it's very impressive. And the stuff that intrigued me, because I've been writing and talking about it for a while now, is how LED in particular is going to be a design consideration for buildings or for people who design physical spaces and architects. And I actually met a couple of people from architectural firms walking around, and we had a chat, and I asked them what you're looking for, and it was that. So I made a point of going to a little stand for a company called Ventana. They're associated with Megapixel, which does video processing. But a few months ago, they came out with a product called Ventana, and it's a tile about the size of an iPad, and it's that dimension. And it just goes up on a wall with little magnet pucks and just kind of locks in. It's micro LED. They've got a glossy version and a flat matte version, and it's fully intended for architects, those kinds of people, because it can just snap into a wall while you don't have all that infrastructure in behind it. It's expensive, but I found it interesting because it's a very different way of going at things, and it didn't feel like a commercial AV project.
So it's one step advanced to what we saw or what we can see at Samsung, the transparent micro LED or MaxWave. These are digital signage products, but which are not part of a building material or so. You can connect them to it, and they have a similar approach to it, obviously, but it's a separate building material, right?
Yeah, I made a point, again, of going to see that Schieker company that has the 3D printed veneers over top. A lot of people stop and look at that, and it's interesting to see it fully working with all a wood grain wall, and there's lights organically coming out of it and so on. It looks neat. The other one that was interesting, because I was just tilting my head going, what? And they were in Hall 6. It's a German company from Cologne called Screen Experts. And their whole shtick is around fire protection, particularly for LED projects in public infrastructure sites like Transport for London, airports, and so on. And I didn't really think about LEDs as being a fire risk, but there's a lot of plastic, there's a lot of burnable material. So they've built, their design is such with layers that it's fully fire rated and meets some EU specifications around that. And I said, well, is this a coating that you could license to other companies? They said, no, it's our product. We have a product line of LEDs and all that. So they're not going to compete on pixel pitch or heavy marketing and all that. But if it gets to a level where there are fires and accidents and so on, that causes a government reaction to say, no, these things need to be fire spec'd. They're in the catbird seat, they're patented and everything. So I thought that was interesting too. It's a different approach to building materials.
But it plays a huge role. We have that also. There's another German company that do little bulbs, which you can put in LED. If the temperature goes above a certain, a certain limit, then they explode and they basically extinguish the fire immediately. And you can save the rest of the LED because they're so expensive nowadays. Yeah. Because one problem is obviously the safety for people around it, which the Cologne company is really taking care of. But another one is you don't want to have like a $500,000 LED destroyed. If just one cabinet gets on fire, so they can really limit that to one module, and you just replace it. So it's lots of things are happening around that.
Dave, you were talking about the shiny things. What do you think of the transparent LED from Samsung?
Micro LED.
Micro LED. They're making everybody stand 10 feet back, which they always seem to do, and Sony did it when they first came out with crystal LED and so on. So it's hard to really get a sense of the quality of it or anything else. Certainly attracted a lot of people. I don't know how much application there is for it, because transparent OLED is already out there, and LG's been trying to sell that for 10 years now. And it's been a challenge for them, and they're still working at finding the right use case. And assuming this is frighteningly expensive right now, it's going to intrigue people, but then chase them off. What was fun to me was, I was looking at it thinking, well, did Samsung do that, or did somebody else? And I was wandering around, and I went to a Taiwanese company called AUO Display, one of the biggest display manufacturers in the world, and they had transparent micro LED there. And I'm looking at it and asking some questions, and is this real micro LED? And he gave me the dimensions, and yes, it is. And I said, is this what's in the Samsung stand? And they said, yeah. So, I mean, and Samsung does that. They have contract manufacturers for their LCD displays and everything else, so it makes sense. But yeah, that's their stuff.
Okay, cool. Good. Anything else?
I was kind of intrigued by what LG is doing, and the kinetic display that they have, the robotic thing pushes. They don't sell that around. Like, that's their big wow thing. They've done OLED for so long, but I guess maybe they're just feeling they're kind of tapped out on OLED. Like, what now can we do to market it in a different way?
They're not even talking about it, right? I mean, we did a booth tour, and they even really explained it to us. There's not a sign on it. It doesn't say, what kind of micro pixel pitches or so. It's just the crowd loves it, obviously, but that's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the use case, I kind of like what they're showing. They a few months ago in Seoul, they had a demo show, and they were working with Starbucks, and they had interactive transparent OLED at the counter, and you could order off of it and everything else. But again, it looks very cool, but is that scalable? Like, it's going to be like flagship stores. Maybe one store has that, but you're not going to walk into a Starbucks out in the suburbs, and that's how you do things. So LG's interesting. I mean, great company in a lot of ways, but there's such a follower of what Samsung does in so many different ways. And we can talk maybe tomorrow about software, but they're doing the same thing again.
Exactly. Cool. I think that was already quite interesting to get some insights there. And tomorrow we'll talk about software. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Thank you.